Hi guys, welcome to Rufio. It's Joe here, bringing you a new deck profile. I wanted to do a budget one. My favourite archetype, if you don't know already, is Lightsworn. I think it's one of those decks that's had so many reprints of all the key elements that go into it that, it's pretty cheap to build and that kind of thing. So it's always good for sort of rogue preferred players and budget players and that kind of thing to maybe look at. It's quite an explosive deck. It's loads and loads of fun. It will always be my favourite. It's certainly not the strongest it ever was, but yeah, it's good fun. Apologies in advance if it's super noisy or anything. I haven't informed anyone else in the house I'm doing a video, mostly because I don't want to attract any attention from younger members of the family. In any case, I won't mess around too much. This is a budget build, as I said, so this isn't necessarily the best version of the build. This is just JD Turbo with a few, more utility cards in there, with the hope that, you can expand your plays beyond just relying on Judgment Dragon to get the win. But the truth is that most people aren't really geared and ready for Judgment Dragon. So normally when it hits the field, you're in a good position. I would say to bear in mind as well that, when you pick this up, you're certainly, you're not going to be going top in any YCSs with it or anything like that anytime soon. But it is great fun. Definitely good enough to take to locals. Definitely good enough to play with your friends. And as I say, it's cheap as chips. I've got some different rarities and stuff in here. The cheapest rarities are like common, most of these cards. But yeah, you can always bump it up, of course, with better cards as you go along. There are a few that I was missing that I didn't quite have ready in time for the video, so there are a few bits missing, but I'll talk about those as I go through. But anyway, without further ado, so of course you want triple Judgment Dragon. It's the key card of the deck, right? It's called JD Turbo for a reason. We went through this bad boy in there. A lot of the time, if you drop one of these and you activate the effect, you can bait your opponent out to see if they have any response. Sometimes you keep the second one in hand. And if the first one goes off successfully, you're swinging for 6k damage just from that. And that assumes you can't make anything else. And sometimes that is how this goes down. It's not very often you'll see more than two at once unless you hold them, and normally if you're holding them, they're aware that they're coming up. But you already know what this does anyway. It's just an awesome classic card now. You want Triple Raiden. Triple Raiden I think is a must for the deck. As part of the engine, I think this is definitely one of the strongest cards. It allows you to go into some of your synchro plays. It can also go into your rank 4 plays, which are really key in this. And of course it's just got an awesome effect anyway. It can also be searched by rotor, which is pretty cool. And of course, he's one more name towards Judgment Dragon. I've got triple Lumina in this build. Normally I would run less. I'd maybe cut one of these for another Felice. I've only got one in this build. It can be a bit of a brick, but there's ways to unclog it. But 3's fine. Like, if you want to play as pure as possible, then this is always good. And of course, free cards are good for link plays and that kind of thing. And again, another name. I've got Triple Wolf. Again, this card is nuts. As you know, it's horrible to draw into it, but there are ways of unclogging it. But absolutely milling this is the best feeling in the world, as everyone knows. Again, it's level 4, so it goes into rank 4 plays, and it's a 2100 beat stick that's basically free. So what's not to like? We've got Triple Lila. Now again, I would probably cut another one of these for maybe another Felice, or maybe a Giant Rex, because that's one of the other cards I'm missing from this build. But yeah, this is good. Who doesn't want to pop back row? There's a lot more floodgates in the format now. Rivalry particularly hurts this deck, although it goes and does nothing. Yeah, and just being able to pop back row is kind of handy. I've got one errand. I swear by this card. A lot of people think this sucks. Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of biased because this is absolutely one of my favourite cards. It was the one that sort of avoided me the whole time I was playing before I left the game. It's Light of Destruction version, which kind of makes me super happy if you can see that. It's a nice secret rare. It's also a warrior though, and it's good for if they get defensive. You can just knock stuff back quite easily without triggering any effects. Especially if you're playing at lower levels, there's a lot more people who will play like flip effects and effects that when they go to grave and that kind of thing, and you can just play around it. And of course it's level 4, so it goes back in, and it's another name for Judgment Dragon. Just one Felice. I would definitely up this to 2, possibly 3, maybe just 2 for this build, I think. Again, it's another tuner, level 4. What's not to like? And of course, you distribute and you pop stuff. It's good for removal. One Raikou Twilight. This is the only Twilight one I would play in this. Truth be told, all the other Twilights pretty much suck. I think it was the Twilight Lila that used to pop back row, was kind of good in Pendulum format. But Pendulum's kind of dead now. I think this is good. It's non-target and removal, and the cost is you just banish one, from hand, so that's fine. It's good for spot removal if you get stuck. That's it for the Lightsworn stuff. I've got some non-Lightsworn bits I'd like to splash in, so these are good. These bad boys. So you use... These are just free summons. This obviously searches. This is another free for when it goes to grave. It helps you go into curious plays. These having the spellcasters there. This is great for just getting more numbers on board, so you can quickly link climb or make ranks if you need to. And as I say, you can turn it into Nat Beast with Glow Up Bulb, and making Nat Beast is pretty sweet. Who doesn't like that? I've got 2 Fairy Tale Snow. I think one's not really enough. You kind of need to be able to make your ranks to make plays, and at the rate you mill in this deck, this is absolutely awesome. And again, more curious plays. What's not to like? These are the Banish Effect cards. Those are the ones I would recommend running. I would also recommend, like I said, 1 Giant Rex in here as well. Rex will make it easier to make your Nat Beast plays, and of course it's a free 2k beta that just recurs. These are really good for helping you go into curious plays because it's a dragon into cyber, so you don't run any of the others of those. And they're also light, of course. This, when it goes to grave, is going to banish your JD, and then when you banish this, JD gets added to hand. So that's the point of the Eclipse Wyverns. It's just pretty much a guaranteed JD, and you're going to banish it off the snow. Spirit Master just gives you utility to be able to pop stuff, troubling cards and things like that. They're a bit more hard to deal with. So yeah, that's always good. A Balance Lord helps unclog your hand, so it's good. You can drag out like Felice if it gets stuck in your hand, or you can drag out Wolf, or of course you can just make other, summons and then go into bigger monsters. So that's it for monsters. Oh, actually, I'm lying. I'm talking rubbish. Got 2 more level 1s. These are 1-for-1 targets. This is just a free, Link Reboot if you play that in the extra deck. It's also a quick way to sort of climb. And then Glow Up Bulb is for your Nat Beast plays. It also gets you a mill, and it's a free card if you get desperate. Again, you can go into Link Rebo with it if you have Link Rebo available to you. I'm not running it in this particular build. I would recommend running it if you have the space. With that in mind, we've got 1-for-1. We don't run too many spells in this because I find that when you run too many, you just end up milling them, which is kind of strange. You mill way more of them, it feels like, when you've got, it just feels like you mill them off. So I think less of them is kind of handy. Just have them when you need them. Monster Reborn, it's broken. Reinforcements of the Army, horrible platinum rare. I love horrible rarities, as you'll find out over time. Rote is just awesome. If it was at 3, you'd play 3. Foolish Burial, gold rare, best rare. This just sends everything. This is such a good card. It's broken in most decks. It's really broken in this. It's really good for sending any of your key combo pieces to grave that you're going to banish. You can send a Snow. You can send Glow Bulb to make Nat Beast easier. If you do run Giant Rex, you can send that and, get that out quite easily. You can send your Eclipse Wyverns to banish your JD so that you're quicker onto your plays. It's just nuts. It's a great card. 1 Soul Charge. It's absolutely busted. You should play this. Who doesn't want to win games off 1 card, right? Reasoning. I swear by this. In all my Lightsworn builds, I run Reasoning. It's a free summon. You're running so many monsters in here that you're going to hit one anyway. And it doesn't matter if it goes to grave or if you get to summon it. So that's always good. The only card you don't really want to mill past, of course, is Judgment Dragon. But everything else is good. Gold Suck. 3 of those. I feel like you won't be able to play 3 of these for much longer. It's almost certainly going to get hit because of the Thunder Dragons. I think it'll probably go to 2 or 1. I can't see it getting banned. But if you can play 3, play 3. Instant effects from here. And of course, you can always search key pieces for later in the game if you get really stuck. It's a great card. Solar Recharge. Triple of those. You have to play it. Who doesn't want to draw cards, right? Draws and mills. That's what this deck is all about. And then finally, 3 Charger Light Brigade. Self-explanatory. It is search and mill. That you can't ask for more than that. This deck is absolutely made to do that. This card's busted. So that's it for the main deck. Like I said, there's some changes I would make. I'd probably add in maybe another Felice. Definitely Giant Rex. And that that's the main stuff. You can always up it with better cards as you go along. But the main focus is going to be extra deck. I don't run any hand traps in there. I don't feel hand traps really do anything for this deck. They're just... You don't really want cards that don't advance your plays. It's kind of explosive. It's supposed to be quick. You're not really in it for the grind game. Like, if you want to play the grind game, you don't play this deck. It's not built for that. It's built for just spamming the board and, hoping your opponent doesn't really have the answers. So, that's how I play it anyway. So onto the extra deck. I haven't done a side deck for this because it's whatever. Side decks for this really don't matter too much. It's kind of just dependent on your local format. Hit pushing again. It boosts lights. What's not to like? Underclock. This card's great. You can OTK with it quite easily. You make it, stick something big behind it. You know, vanish someone's attack to 0 and then just kill it. And you can make big beat sticks in this real quick, as you'll know. Curious, this card is absolutely nuts. It's getting abused in other decks at the moment, but I don't see it going anywhere. Yeah, it's so sweet. I mean, if you don't really know what this does, basically you can Foolish Burial a monster, and then you get to mill 3, and then when it dies, you can add a card back to hand. So it's absolutely stupid. Decode, if you run out of this, you can make this, or this is just good if you need a bigger monster. You shouldn't really have too many issues with that, but this is really easy enough to get into. And sometimes you've got 3 on board, and they're not the same attributes, but you really need to go into the Decode Talker, or you need to go into a Link 3 so you can get these downward arrows. And Curious isn't available, so Decode fills that spot. We've got 2 Minerva. 2 is absolutely fine. Sometimes you'll feel like you need a 3rd. Generally speaking, the game isn't going to go long enough for you to need it. You're normally going to kill your opponent really quick, or you're going to probably get killed quite quick. It just depends on your matchup and how lucky your mills and your draws are. If you do get stuck into a bit of a grind game with this, though, there's some great cards to keep you tipping along and just powering through, and hopefully they just run out of ideas and you just kill them. Minerva's absolutely busted, as you know, so yeah, definitely worth playing. We've got the Utopia package. Again, gets over stuff. If you do end up hitting stuff like Waking the Dragon, they come up with big boys. You can just hit over with this. This can out a lot of stuff. A lot of problem cards are just big, difficult monsters. This gets over it. Exiton, it's busted. If you get in a really tight situation, you can just make a rank 4 to make a play, and you'll go for these, but if you don't have Minerva left, you can just make Exiton and clear the board up and sort of equalise it. Bajinki is going to help bring back your banished stuff from Fairy Tale Snow. 3 level 4 monsters sounds really bad, but when you summon one back, you've basically just done like 2. It's the same as just summoning one of these guys when you think of it that way. Tornado Dragon. This card, amongst others, are the reason that we don't need to run too much back row removal. There is some, obviously, with Lila, but Tornado Dragon does the same job, so that card's great. Nat Beast, we can make it, so we absolutely should. Black Rose Dragon, if you get really, really stuck, you can pop a load of stuff, and usually you can abuse Fairy Tale Snow from there and just build a board again pretty quick. Michael for spot removal, it's another name for Judgment Dragon, and it's just fucking awesome, so what's not to like? And Scarlight, this card wins games. If you get really stuck, you can make this with like one of your 4s and one of your tuners. Your main tuners are 4s as well, so they can go into this pretty easy. In an ideal world, you end on something like Curious, this and this, or Curious, Minerva, and Nat Beast. But that's it for the video, guys. I will be bringing another variant of the Lightsworn deck. There are so many ways to splash this engine about that it's a really versatile deck. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring you that. It's quite a budget build, like I say, so there's lots that could be improved, and you can always chop and change it. If you do have any questions, put them in the comments. I'm more than happy to help, as always. Thank you very much for watching. Big shout out to Mark, as always, for giving me the space to record videos. I'm actually recording this one at home, but he always hooks me up during the week. Yeah, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content in the future. And if there's anything you want to see, leave it in the comments. Let me know what you want to look for, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you very much. I'm afraid that's all we have time for in this video. If by chance you haven't had enough of listening to me waffle at you through a video about a children's card game, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are on the screen, or if you're feeling really lazy, you can click the links in the description. While you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content too. It'll make me smile, I promise. And who could ask for more than that? Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.